All right, people. So the Danish government just released critical data on its migrant population. And with that, there is an added pressure on the UK government to do the same because the UK government does not record the immigration status of people when it comes to crime or welfare dependency. Have a look at this. Immigrants are almost 3 times more likely to commit crime than natives, official Danish government figures reveal. So when will Labour publish the UK figures? So let's have a closer look at that. Are you ready? This is horrendous. So the baseline is what the native Danes do. Romania, slightly higher, probably about 2x. You're 2 times more likely to commit rape. Pakistan, Pakistan's actually really low on this. Not bad. Well done, Pakistanis. Proud of you. Well, still 5 times higher than an average Dane. Look at that. Turkey, Iran, Morocco, Iraq, the usual suspects. Afghanistan, Palestine, Syria, and Somalia, almost 20 times more likely to commit rape than anyone else. Have a look at this. And it's not just rape. Somalis, 20 times more likely to commit rape. Assault against public servants, Somalia again tops the list. Ethiopians, Ugandans, Tunisian, Palestinians, attempted homicide, 27 times more likely. Blackmail, oh, Palestinians, yeah, of course, they've got a lot of practice. Somalia, ex-Yugoslavia, burglary, Palestine. Oh my goodness, look at that. What did you get out of your empathy for the Palestinian cause, huh? What did you get? Forgery. I'm surprised at that, actually. Fraud, Somalia. You're not surprised at that at all. All welfare fraud in the US, Somalis are topping the chart. Grievous assault, Somalis again. Groping, oh, Somalia is much lower on that list. So Syrians are known for groping women. Robbery, 33 times more likely. 33 times more likely, wow. Shoplifting, Tunisian. Theft, Palestinians. What did you get out of that? Let's have a look at this.
In Denmark, migrants take far more cash welfare benefits than natives. And that's true in most European countries. But the interesting thing is Denmark, taking the scientific approach, actually decided to collect crime data, welfare data on first, second, and third generation immigrants. And they actually find that the second and third generation immigrants, who you would expect to be quite well integrated into Danish society, they've lived their whole lives in Denmark.
No, it's actually worse. It's proven now. The second and third generations of immigrants are actually worse than the first generation. It's the same across the board. And a lot of the blame actually sits with local governments because we have people like Tony Burke that say, oh, you don't have to lose your identity. You don't have to lose who you are. We love you for who you are. You don't have to make any effort to integrate or assimilate. You don't even have to learn the local language.
The concept of immigration is people, when they come to Australia, want to be part of Australia. That's what people want. And I've never accepted the word assimilation. I don't want people to lose who they are. The word integration is one that's being used as part of a multicultural dialogue for a very long time. And that's what it is. Like, we want people for who they are. I've never subscribed to that sort of melting pot concept that your whole identity is meant to be dissolved.
And that's the result.
They actually take more welfare than the first generation immigrants, and they actually have higher crime rates as well. I mean, the one statistic that stood out is the second, third generation immigrants have a murder rate that's 805% times the native population, and about double, say, their parents' generation. So the whole promise of multiculturalism and mass immigration, which is that you can take people that are coming from radically different cultures, radically different backgrounds, and if you just kind of present, Western values to them, it will be so irresistible. They'll become interchangeable Westerners. That hasn't worked out. And increasingly, you're seeing a recognition of that from places you would not have expected it in the past. Left-wing governments, centrist governments across Europe. David Cameron said that multiculturalism was a failure. Angela Merkel acknowledged it was a failure. Recently in Sweden, they have a huge problem with gang violence. And according to a police report from Sweden, 95% of gang violence perpetrators are of non-Western origin. You have countries like France where they very strictly prohibit collecting any kind of ethnic data on crime or welfare, any of these things. What was interesting with Denmark is they actually did break it down by Western origin, non-Western origin. And there's been some economic studies on this recently as well. And again, there is a very, it's a categorical difference. There was 2 studies on this, one in Denmark, one in the Netherlands. And it found that actually the Western immigrants to these countries are a net positive economically. But the non-Western immigrants, I think Michael McCarthy may have even mentioned this on your show, they're a net drain, sometimes in the 6 figures. And Denmark found a similar pattern, which was that second, third generation immigrants, children of non-Western immigrants are the biggest net drain on welfare. And this is a pattern that's repeated throughout Europe. It's why in places that were traditionally very left-wing, like Sweden, you actually had, in 2022, their prime minister, who's the leader of the Social Democrat Party that kind of created the Swedish welfare state, said that mass immigration had created parallel societies. So when I look across the continent, we're seeing a recognition of the problems of this policy and the idea that if we just take a colorblind position, if we pretend that these realities don't exist, then, again, magically people will just, wear the skin of a new culture and we'll see a total change to these patterns. And what I'm saying from this perspective is, no, institutions look the way they do because of the people that built them. Countries look the way they do because of the people that built them. Japan is the way it is because it's populated by Japanese people. If you replace the population of Japan with Irish people, it would be quite different in character. And we're witnessing the same thing happening in Europe now. And all I'm saying is we have to have an honest conversation about if that's a good thing or not.
But no one is willing to have that honest conversation. I don't know why. There's still some people. Let me actually read you this. This stat that I just showed you? These are the official stats released by the Danish government. And look at this, this woke woman. She's saying, it's racist like you that nobody wants. You are all on this app saying big words, but truth is you're traceable and you're the ones women are scared of. What the hell is she talking about? She's having a go at this native European person who's released these, who's tweeted these stats. He hasn't released these stats. It's the Danish government that has released these stats. She's having a go at him for showing these stats. And she's saying, women are scared of people like you, not these Somalis who are 20 times more likely to rape Danish women, or Syrians who are 12 times more likely to grope a Danish woman. And look at this. She actually, I don't even know who she is. And look at this. She's already blocked me. Obviously, she can't handle. The reason I mentioned her was because, you know how he said that we need to have an honest conversation? Well, these people are not even having an honest conversation. Have a look at this. Trump just released this. This is not clear evidence, then I don't know what is. Lifetime contribution per immigrant. If you're a North American, for example, a US or Canadian citizen, you're going to contribute $500,000 to the state, to the US exchequer. If you're a Scandinavian, almost $500,000 as well. Oceania, like Australia, just under $500,000. Japan, 525,000, $500,000. UK, so a UK immigrant goes to the US, he will contribute 481,000. But now have a look. If you are a Somali, then you're going to suck $1.1 million out of the American state. If you're from the Caribbean region, 675,000. If you're Middle Eastern, 624,000. Latin American, 271,000. Sub-Saharan African, 730,000. Central and North Africa, 700,000. What's the point of bringing these people in? I thought the whole idea of immigration is that you bring in immigrants so they can serve your community. That was the whole idea of being a great country, that we're going to take the best and the brightest from all over the world. That was the whole idea. It just doesn't make any sense, guys. Lefty ideology is just killing the West. Look at this. There's some more stats. In the UK, Somalis, there are 176,000 Somalis, and 70% of them depend on welfare. Sweden, Somalis, 70,000. 70% of them depend on welfare. In Norway, 44,000 Somalis. 70% of them depend on welfare. The Netherlands, 39,000 Somalis. 65%. Ooh, slight improvement. Germany, 39,000 Somalis. 60% of them depend on welfare. Finland, 25,000 Somalis. 70% of them depend on welfare. What's the point of bringing these people in? What is the point, guys? I think Europe needs to just wake up and say, look, sorry, we tried. We tried multiculturalism. We tried being humane to everyone, but it's not working out. Because it's not just a matter of being nice or being humane or being cruel. It's just not a sustainable model. You just cannot survive.